All right, here we go. All right, Tristan, you be the patrol leader. Pick the people to do the Pledge of Allegiance, etc.
Max will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Signs up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Next.
I'll do Scout Law. Signs up. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Two.
Okay.
And for Scout Oath, it will be AJ.
Okay. Signs up. On my honor, I will do my best On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to guard my country, to obey the Scout Law, and to help other peoples at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally weak, and morally straight.
AJ, turn your camera on, please.
Sorry, I forgot to turn it on.
And Max, you'll do outdoor code.
Signs up. As an American, I'll do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners and be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded too.
Okay, guys, very good. Today we're going to talk about tasks 7D and 7E. 7D tells what utility service exists in your home or meeting place. In our case, it's going to be home. Describe the potential hazards associated with these utilities and tell how to respond in emergencies. Task 7E, develop an emergency action plan for your home, which includes what to do in case of fire, a storm, power outage, or water outage. Now, this part's going to be your homework for next week. You're going to have to draw an evacuation plan for your house and answer some questions that I will tell you later. So next week, we'll go all the way around the room and ask everybody to show their evacuation plan and also to answer the questions. Then next week after that, we'll be doing second class tasks 3C and 10. 3C describes hazards and injuries you might encounter on a hike and what you do to prevent them. And task 10 is tell about demonstrating the scout spirit. And we'll talk about that when we have the next week's meeting. There's a meeting of the adults this week, and we're going to talk about shooting and also the overnight camp, when the Court of Honor is going to be, and I'll be able to tell you the dates, or if we're still delaying next Saturday when we have the meeting. Still need the rifle shooting workbook from the people on this list. Philip's the only one that's completed. Max and Adrian have tasks they need to do, and tell me about them, or you're going to get left behind when everybody gets their second class. All right, task 7D. Tell what utility services exist in your home. Describe the potential hazards. with these utilities to allow to respond in emergency situations. And some of these utilities we don't have in the Philippines. One of them is gas to your house. In the States, they have gas companies that pipe gas to your house just like electricity. That's not the case here. And also some of the other ones, we'll talk about them right after the video. Let's watch this 5-minute video for 7D.
First class scout requirement 7D. Tell what utility services exist in your home or meeting place. Describe potential hazards associated with these utilities and tell how to respond in emergency situations. There's many typical utilities, and there are some others that are not included in this video, depending on what part of the country you live in. But let's go over some of the very basic ones. Electric, water and sewer, gas, trash, security, and internet or phone service. Let's also talk about the hazards and responses to each one. So some hazards of an electric utility are bad wiring, electrocution, tripped breaker, or electrical fire. When it's bad wiring, tell an adult. They'll need to call an electrician. You should stay away from the area where the bad wiring is, and probably not even be in that room or that building. In case of electrocution, call 911 and the power company and treat the person as a hurry case until an ambulance gets there. Next, tripped breaker. Tell an adult. Let them reset the breaker. And then an electrical fire. Never try to put out an electrical fire. It is very dangerous. Get out of the building immediately and call 911. Also, do not try to move electrical wires yourself. The next is water and sewer. Some typical problems are a broken water line, leaking water, sewage or sewage gas leaking, and no water.
Can everybody hear okay?
Yes.
Okay.
For a broken water line, tell an adult and call the water company. You might also need to leave the building. For leaking water, tell an adult. A small leak may be manageable until a plumber can arrive. Sewage and sewer gas leaking. This can be very dangerous. Evacuate the building and call the water company. No water. Leave the building and call the water company. Especially if this is your meeting place. It is not safe to meet in a building that doesn't have working toilets or water for drinking. Utility and gas problems. A gas leak. Pilot lights that don't light, or no gas. For a gas leak, go outside and call the gas company. Do not use your cell phone in a room filled with gas. Do not stay in a building filled with gas. Pilot lights that don't light, same thing. Go outside and call the gas company. You do not know if the gas is leaking, and then when the pilot light does work, it could be a problem. No gas, call your gas company. You may also consider evacuating the building. Trash. Some hazards and responses to trash. No pickup, large trash pickup, and dangerous trash items. So if the company doesn't come when they're supposed to for trash pickup, this is a hazard, as it can cause all kinds of diseases, and animals can be attracted to rotting trash. So please call the trash company so that they can come and pick it up. Large trash pickup. For items that are larger than the normal trash, you should probably call your trash company, especially if this is some kind of project, a service project that your troop is doing or something your family is doing. Call the trash company and see if they have special policies for larger items. And then dangerous trash items, things like batteries, paint, anything, any kind of chemical, you should always call your trash company and see if there's a special way that you need to dispose of these items. Security. The alarm going off, a break-in, or no alarm service. If the alarm is going off, call the alarm company immediately. If there has been a break-in, call the alarm company and call 911. Do not enter the building if there has been a break-in, if there's any evidence of a break-in. No alarm service. You should always call the company to see why there's no alarm service. Internet or phone. If you have no service or if you have broken equipment. If you have no service, call the company. You'll probably need to use your cell phone. And if you have broken equipment, you should also call the company. In both of these cases, you should probably have the person who's in charge of the internet service, whether it's in your family or at your meeting place, to do that. So that's got to Rob, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so you get more updates for more great videos just like this one. Happy scouting.
Okay, guys, let me talk about those items first. Gas company, you don't have to worry about. Coordinating with the trash here, your parents should be doing it. Whether it's a big pickup or dangerous trash. Also, the internet company we have here is almost impossible, even for an adult to contact. So leave that one to your parents. You do need to have the number of the police or your security at the subdivision that you live in case there's an emergency. So we're going to focus on electricity and water that you need to be concerned about here in the Philippines. Task 7E. You're going to develop an emergency action plan for your home that includes what to do for a case of fire, a storm, power outage, or water outage. We'll talk about your homework right after this video.
This is gonna Rob, and these are first class rank requirements, 7. Develop an emergency plan of action for your home that includes what to do in case of fire, storm, power outage, or water outage. So in this rank requirement, you need to put together an emergency plan that you can show to your scoutmaster that includes fire, storms, power outages, and what to do when you don't have any water. And this is either for your home or your scouting, the place where you do your scout meetings. So the first is fire. You must have an evacuation plan. Sketch this out with evacuation routes. Know where you're going to meet. You have to have a meeting place when you get outside to make sure that everybody got out of the house. And then know how to get out. Are you on the second floor? Things like that. Or you need a ladder, a rope. Do you have those things? You know, what happens if you don't? Have a fire extinguisher.
Okay. This drawing down here at the right side of the screen, that's the type of evacuation plan that you're going to show me next week for your house. So draw it with a dark felt marker so it shows up on your camera when you show it to me.
If it's a small fire, you may be able to put it out before it gets out of control, especially in the kitchen. So make sure you have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen. And then practice with your family or your troop. Practice your emergency plan so that way if something were to happen, you already know what to do. Storms, depending on where you live, different kinds of storms could be different kinds of problems. So in general, the first thing is know where to go. What happens if you have a storm? Should you evacuate? Should you stay still? It depends on the kind of storm. But don't wait until it's too late, especially from rising water. So in general, the rule is hide from the wind, run from the water, right? So if we're talking about rising water, flooding, you need to get out. Don't let the water trap you where you can't get away, okay? Hide from the wind, but run from the water. Have a tornado plan and a flood plan. And if you live somewhere where blizzards or snowstorms are common, have a plan for that too. So know what to do in different kinds of dangerous stormy weather. Always keep at least 3 to 5 days of food and water ready. So that way, should there be an issue, that you can survive for those 3 to 5 days on things that you can eat, especially things that don't require much or any cooking. And finally, a power outage. Know how to cut off your fuse box. This is super important. Should there be, some kind of power problem in your house, know how to cut the fuse box off. Have candles, lanterns, and a fire source. In case you do have to go for several days without electricity, you have light to deal with things. Turn off and unplug your electronics. When the electricity does return, it could come with a big surge, and you don't want to wreck all your electronics. And finally, never touch down power lines. Just because there's no power coming out of them right now doesn't mean that in 1 second they won't return to life. That's deadly dangerous. And finally, no water. So in the hot months, always have backup water. Recommendation again is 3 days of water minimum. So that's I believe it's 3 gallons of water per person per day. And don't forget your pets and any other pets that you're responsible for. You need to count them in that backup water plan. Do not stay in a house without water, at least backup water, for more than 24 hours, especially if there's no water at all and the toilets are not running. You should go somewhere else. Go stay in a hotel with friends, but it will become dangerous after 24 hours in that house with no running water at all. Always follow boil water orders. So if the water does run, but you're under a boil water order, that means that water is not safe to drink. Boil it. So make sure that you're following all those water restrictions from your local officials. This has been Scout Rob. Like, share, subscribe, and make sure that you keep on scouting.
All right, so next week, when we have our meeting, you're going to give me your homework, or you're going to tell me about your homework. You're going to show me your evacuation plan. And then I'm going to ask you the following questions. I'm going to add 2 right now that are not on here. Do you have the fire department number, telephone number? And also, do you have the telephone number for security at your subdivision or the local police station? And I'm going to ask you what that number is. The next ones are, do you have at least 1 fire extinguisher in your house? Do you have a 3 to 5 day water supply and food supply in your house in case of emergency? Do you know how to turn off the power at the fuse box? And you can ask your parents, where's the fuse box and how to turn it off, so that you can tell me next week. Also, do you know how to turn off the water that's coming into your house in case a pipe breaks or whatever, so that you know how to shut off the water and don't flood the house? The other question I'm going to have for you is, do you have candles and flashlights for brownouts? And I'm recommending flashlights. I'm recommending flashlights because candles can be dangerous and start a fire. So remember, I'm going to add, and When I post next week's meeting, I'll put these on the list. The number for the fire department and number for security. Does anyone have any questions? AJ, you've got a question?
Even bright candles don't even produce that much light.
In here, you get closer to your,
Bright candles doesn't produce that much light than flashlights.
yeah, that's correct. And they're more dangerous. Any other comment? Turn your camera back on. AJ, turn your camera on. AJ, yes. Any other questions? Okay, Tristan, go ahead and do the closing ceremony. Thank you guys for participating today. Tristan?
To the great Scoutmaster of all scouts, be with us until we meet again. Troop 485, dismiss.
Thank you, guys. I'll leave this on for 5 minutes in case you guys want to talk to each other.